What's going on, Scorpio? Welcome to your Sagittarius Full Moon reading. I feel like this full moon is some pretty good energy. The theme that came up while I was meditating on it was Resplendent Surrender, because I just thought about the richness of leaning in, closing your eyes, and taking good leaps of faith, but also just the energy of setting things down that we don't have to carry anymore, or period. I also hope you're having as relaxing a day as this one. So productive. Yes. um but yeah, so we're gonna dive in here, okay? So do you see that she tried to oh my gosh. Okay, so I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, so I'm going to pull from the Journey of Love Oracle. Spirit, what messages do you have for Scorpio, please? Messages for Scorpio. So we have the choice, gifts received. That's lovely. And dream a little. I like this a lot. This is really light energy. This is very lighthearted energy. I am a big fan. I stan. Which card do I want to read though? Why don't I read gifts received? That strikes me as a good one. Okay. Relax. It's okay to accept what is coming your way now. Holy surrender. That's like big time. Anyways, gentle your soul, steady your heart. Even the most precious treasure can be received by you. Why not? Are you not built of the same stuff as that treasure, beloved? It's all love after all. That is all there is. Enjoy, accept, rest in the knowledge that you are being invited into a sanctuary of abundance. Peaceful rest and replenishment now. It's just time. This oracle holds a message for you. The universe is trying to get something to you. More abundance, more love, an answer to a prayer. Sometimes the healing comes in unexpected packages. Sometimes we try so hard to find the answer, exerting so much effort to receive, that we make things harder for ourselves than they need to be. So relax, have some fun, be at peace. Everything is working out just fine, and there's a nice surprise coming your way. Maybe the choice is to accept it and just to dream a little. Like it's almost like they're different sides of the same story here. Like it's like the choice to dream a little, right? The choice to dream a little and to envision that that there are gifts coming your way, and even not just to envision it, but to not just to envision it, but also to step into what arrives or what is arriving. Yeah. Spirit, what messages do you have for Scorpio? What messages do you have for Scorpio? Eight of Cups. I feel like that's where you are now, is like the Eight of Cups can signify a leaving things behind, but I think it's also, to me, it's an intentional moving towards. It's cutting things out that weren't working for you, but it's also a recognition of the emotional things, that emotional fulfillment that wasn't really in your best interest, like things that weren't serving you. And it's understanding that dynamic and how that can kind of play into your emotions and make you doubt yourself. And I think this is sort of, I'm hearing dawn of a new day. Like it could be there's a real chapter that closed, or there's like a real, like a cycle that is ended or beginning, something along those lines. Like it feels big. Spirit, what messages do you have for my creative collective, my Scorpios, for this Sagittarius full moon. Six of Swords. More moving. There's a lot of motion here. There's a lot of motion here. So it's almost like a recognition of what you really want. Like Eight of Cups is like emotions that that are emotions that inform your wants, like your why, right? And the Six of Swords is a moving towards, but also away. Like this is leaving things behind that really aren't working. And I think this is an embracing of that energy, right? So this is kind of where you are, but this is just confirmation that you're moving on to calmer waters, to better shores, and shores that are not just better, but like I'm getting like a lot of navigating your emotions. Water represents emotion, right? So it's like navigating your emotions in a healthier way that is going to allow for so much more to come in. And I think that has to do with the surrender. This is more the embracing energy in this spread, but we'll see where the release comes from. Page of Wands. Woo, that is to release. Let me see how this plays out to get the full picture here. Because part of me wants to say like releasing this sort of, because the Page of Wands can represent inspiration, but also in the reverse, it can represent the sort of scattered energy. It can represent being unclear about what fires us up. But it can also be an energy of, I think like I want to say creative immaturity, but it doesn't really do justice to it. And I feel like it sort of categorizes and labels people in really unfair ways. So I think that here the Page of Wands is representative of an energy of, I think the Page of Wands is representative of an energy that is, it's almost like set your sights high and don't be afraid to reach for things. Like don't be in this energy of I'm not really sure, I don't know. Like this isn't a strength card necessarily, but it's almost like don't be afraid to set your sights and your efforts really high, right? Forgive the very, this is like hitting my Canadian quota for the day, I suppose, to throw in a hockey quote this early. But it's like you miss it's Wayne Gretzky quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So like, are you shooting your shot? Right. And what efforts are you putting behind it? Like, how are you integrating your efforts and mobilizing them in service to your good? And also in a way that respects the healing that you've done and that respects what you like, a future that you want. Okay. So the story of how the light gets in here. Okay. So I'm going to take the one from the top there, but I'm going to pull a second one because there were like 7 or 8 that came out there. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. It's like leaving behind things that left you feel, leaving behind that's instability, right? 5 of Wands. It technically was like it's a card that denotes training, but it's almost like you were in training perhaps, but it can also represent the other side of that is competitive energy and just feeling like you're destabilized a bit. So it's almost like leaving behind energies that didn't really honor you and the security and stability that you were deserving of. So that's kind of honoring yourself is how the light gets in. Let's see where else this takes us. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Scorpios for this full moon in Sagittarius, this clarifying energy? So 8 of Cups. Yeah, I feel like this is a real recognition of what it is that you want. Yeah, Magician, Ace of Cups, Death. There you are, Justice. Dang. Okay, Scorpio. Holy smokes. I feel like this is, to me, this is really about the Magician energy is you being in a manifesting mode. It's you being in a manifesting power. And I think the Ace of Cups here is really about That's about your heart being full, your heart overflowing. But this is also in the context of this story, I feel like this is you understanding what it is that you actually want, because this is a cup overflowing. And for that phrase, right? My cup overflow. The it's like the I'm hearing not rush of okay. There's like rush of emotion here, but there's also this recognition of emotional capacity, and I think it's like coming into a kind of, I'm seeing this reminds me of my ever present Catholicism that I grew up with, but it reminds me of this like communion, right? Like this baptism from within. I had a friend named Michael who said that tears are like that, where we're baptized from within. And I feel like this is you coming into a kind of communion with yourself, because you're recognizing that you have what you need and you have what it takes, right? And it's not just about, I think there's something important here that you're seeing, and this is part of this energy maybe, where it's like people who believe that in you, or believe that about you and your energy. It's like almost turning towards that, like it's like steering your ship, right? Steering your ship towards that energy, and you're showing up in your power here. Like, this is beautiful. I feel like this is sort of a transformative energy, because there's a recognition of what you want in your cup. This also represents love. I mean, I'm not going to lie, like this, either an opportunity for it, an opportunity to love, or an opportunity to be loved. And I think it's one that it's almost, I'm feeling like this is like an inner recognition here, because of the Eight of Cups, this sort of inward facing energy and this transformative energy that is your superpower, Scorpio. This is your energy here. And I think that there's like a sense of this just feeling right. Like, this is something about this journey that you're on, or this decision, because I do feel like the choice is showing up here, and this gifts received. It's almost like you're recognizing the gifts available to you, and you're not really investing in cups that aren't, it's not about giving to get. It's not about that. This is about giving with the understanding that when you're in situations and in connections, be they friendships or romantic relationships, you will find a balance, right? And if it's not reciprocal, that needs to be addressed. It's not selfish to want your cup full too. And there's a certain measure of work that we have to put into filling our own cup, yes, but it's not unreasonable for you to want that from other people, that they might fill that cup as well, right? But I feel like that's the sort of integrity that you're seeing things with. You're seeing things through very clear eyes. And I think that this is part of this choice and this decision. Like, I feel like there's like big decision making happening here. But a lot of it's just like, it's inward facing journeys, right? It's inward facing journeys, because I feel like this is like a walking away ish card. Like, this is not walking away from situations necessarily, but it's like, you're moving on from something. These are endings, right? Endings. But I think this is more of a recognition, really. I think this is a real recognition. And I think the 10 of Cups here, or 10 of Cups, the 10 of Swords is, it would not surprise me if the 10 of Cups came out somewhere here, though. But I feel like because I feel like that's kind of what you're recognizing is important to you. And I think that this cup is showing up here. This cup of love is showing up because there's a recognition of what you want now. And you're really, the magician in this position is being unafraid of, reaching for it, but also unafraid of manifesting it. And also there's another component of it, unafraid of the transformations that might take place on the way to that. Because, like, love changes us, and it doesn't change us in ways that are like, you're different. You were just a different person before. It's not like you've done a 180. It's not like that. Like, it shifts our priorities, right? Like, I know that there are ways that, I do want a long-term relationship, and as I get into, as I don't know, like, we're something to show up. I understand that my time and where I put it might change slightly to accommodate that, right? Relationships that we want in our lives take work from us. And I think that it's not that there's a lack of recognizing that, but I think that there's just this transformative aspect of things where you're unafraid of building something new. So, yeah, unafraid of building something new. I love it when the bottom of the deck speaks to the words coming out. So good. There's some alignment. So Six of Swords. Spirit, can you clarify this for me, please? Six of Swords, King of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, King of Cups, Tower. I feel like maybe these are different. It's almost like court cards can be different people that are competing for your energy, but it can also be different aspects of you that are competing within yourself for something that's going on right now. And this Tower, I feel like it's already happened, like this awareness or this knowledge, like there's something about, like, these can be different priorities, like you're competing with, and competing priorities just means that there are different aspects of your energy that are trying to, like, that you're used to different sides of this dominating your energy or taking the lead, so that they are now working in harmony together. Is kind of different perhaps, or there's a way that it's a bit surprising to find these different aspects of things. Either it's maybe there were things you thought were incompatible in one relationship. I don't know. But this, like, so like emotional sensitivity, emotional availability, clarity of what they want, clarity about who they are, and patterns. And this, so if this is not related to relationship, this can also be projects that allow you to bring these parts of yourself forward, right? Emotional sensitivity, very, very clear communication, and clear communication that is fair but firm. And, like that, there's a saying like strong opinions loosely held, right? And then this aspect of security and stability. And this is about stability to me. This can mean financial stability, but this can also just mean where people see what they want and are unafraid of going for it. But there's also this sense of like they're clear about what they want, so you're not like left guessing. Like there's no, like, guess culture is a thing. And I grew up in a household where you were rewarded for correct guesses, right? And so it's taken a lot of work. And I highly recommend the book Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, because it offers a framework. And you can Google it. It's called the how you can use the NVC process. There's like a PDF online, but it outlines everything. And it talks about, just being very clear. And I think that that's sort of, you're getting clear with yourself. And I think this Six of Swords tells me that there's like a moving away from patterns or situations or people that, and people can't really hold us back from things. It's more so how we engage with them and how we benefited from the problem that was presented through their energy or in it, that kind of idea. So, and problems are really just opportunities, right? That's, I firmly believe that. And I think the Tower here is about this recognition, like there's something that wasn't working in how you were doing things before, and that's what you're moving away from. And I think that the towards that you're going, the thing that you're moving towards, let me just pull a clarifier here. Spirit, can you clarify this Tower for me, please? I feel like it's sort of ending this like non-committal energy. Eight of Wands, yeah, fast moving connection, that's for sure. And there's the Ten of Cups. I felt that so strongly. So it's like the ending of, it's like these endings, right? The Eight of Cups, and then you have the moving away, which is the Six of Swords, and then you have this Ten of Swords. So endings, but the beginnings are what this is really about here. And I think that that's something that you're headed towards, unashamedly, and rightly so, because that's beautiful energy. So I think that this is really about releasing, I think maybe dreaming small, releasing, playing small, releasing an inability to really allow ourselves to see and feel the expanse of our joy. So I think that's part of this here. Ace of Swords. Yeah, that's an aspect of truth, right? Like this is the truth. And I think that when the Ace of Swords shows up, it's sort of this articulation of what was just said as being true. And I almost feel like there's a way that maybe you didn't let yourself reach for more or expect more, because, when you have consecutive hard times or things that are just hard consecutively, it can sort of concretize this this notion that this is what things look like, or this is what they are, when there's so much there are so many different ways excuse me, that can show up. So Ace of Swords. Spirit, what other messages do you have for Scorpio? Okay, so Ace of Swords, King of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. Bam. And that's the frustration being released. Yeah, I feel like now we have all the tens almost. Actually, no, we? 10 of Swords. We had 10 of Wands, 10 of Cups, 10 of Swords. Um, we just need the Pentacles. So, but that, I think that the one that's in absence, the one in absentia, is the one that it kind of brings this story together. Um, yeah, and I think that this is you. The King of Wands is someone that's deeply passionate, goes after what they want, and isn't really afraid of isn't afraid of the passions that they have, because sometimes we can be afraid of it and feel like it's going to run away with us, right? Or that we have to protect ourselves because there's something wrong with it or us. And I think the King of Wands is ambition, but it's also this sort of very purpose driven. There's something that their actions are oriented around, that are connected to their fire, right? Connected to their fire quite deeply. And I feel like you may have sort of used work or just some kind of busyness as a distraction, to stop yourself from kind of having to be in this place of recognizing that you're playing small. Because when you're in a state of working all the time, you don't have to recognize, like, it's like your patterns are unavailable to you because you're in go mode, right? You're in this place of you're in this place of doing, and your identity or your purpose can come from the doing, when you need to be more connected to your passion. But it can be a defense that we use, especially when we're playing small, right? Because then it means that we're surrounded by so much work, and that's the big instead of the big dreams. That's the big instead of that wide expanse of what's possible for you, with, like, aligning your energy and yourself. It can be it can be that energy for sure. And then the 10 of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles here is really about, I think, releasing frustrations. It's letting go of the things that frustrated you, because you're understanding that this was like a way that you felt like you were playing big because the burden that you were carrying was big. But what that was really needing to be released, because there's new here, right? And not just like some, nebulous new opportunity. This is really about it's an investment of your energy. There's an investment of your energy that isn't going to take all of your energy, right? Is the best way I can word it. And that might feel kind of weird. It might feel kind of weird, but I think that it's something to lean into, because the only thing missing here is the 10 of Pentacles, which tells me that it's sort of like the beginning and ending. And the Death card is here, and this is representative of the 10 swords in the minor arcana reflection of this is the 10 swords, which is the endings, of which we have almost all of them. And then the 4 aces, which are the beginnings, and we have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. So the one we're missing is the Ace of Wands, which is passion. So it's almost like connecting ideas together to make this a reality here, because I'm picking it up here is sort of like how the light gets in, really, right? And I think the pages are messengers, yes, but I think that there's a message that's coming to you about the way that you're playing small here. And, page energy is of the smaller variety of court cards. So that's where I think I'm picking up on that energy as well. But, yeah, let's see where we go here. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Cancerians? And by Cancerians, I mean Scorpios. For my Scorpios. 5 of Swords, 2 of Wands, 5 of Cups, the Fool. Big time, feel the fear and do it anyway, right? You may have felt that prioritizing yourself was kind of a problem. The 5 of Swords energy is like taking whatever you can get from situations that are kind of gross and competitive. And maybe it's also people that didn't listen to you, right? Like, this is also like when people don't listen to you, you just have to operate however to get your needs met, however, right? Because swords are about beliefs, swords are about voice, they're about truths and the articulation thereof. So in a way, I get that this is like, you may have been in environments where people wouldn't listen to you. They would be manipulative with their words. You couldn't trust them. And they left you feeling really like icky when you communicated with them or tried to, right? So I feel like that sort of left you in a place of, okay, I need to do something different this time. I need to do something different. So it's almost like investing in a vision of something beyond this, right? And the world is here too. Sort of um, this idea of seeing what's possible for you beyond this situation. And this situation can also be patterns, right? Because again, the swords also represent patterns. So it's like seeing beyond this pattern. And with the 10 with the 10 of swords and the Queen of Pentacles here, this tells me that there's an ending of that old sword based pattern, right? Double-edged swords, the pen's mightier than the sword. All of the ways that we talk about swords relates to voice, in a manner of speaking. I mean, there are other ways that you can use that as a metaphor, but a lot of them are representative of the ways that, we use our words and our voice and show up in the world through that energy. So I think that there's like this sense of security that you're establishing for yourself. And it's because you did that, or because you're doing that, that there's energy that is making itself known to you. But you first kind of have to, I think there's like this disappointment energy at what didn't work out. And I think that disappointment energy can get kind of, I don't want to say sticky, but a little bit, because we can feel tempted by these 3 cups that are never going to fill. Like, they're never going to fill that cup. So even though they're spilled, we lament the loss of those 3 cups without really seeing the 2 behind us. We lament the loss of those cups without understanding that we can turn around. And this can also be a need to sometimes we can. So the book, there's a book by Chuck Spitzano. He is a fantastic author whom I love and just adore. His work is phenomenal. The book is called If It Hurts, It Isn't Love. And he has this great way of sort of turning projection on its head and helping us to see how we benefit from the patterns in our lives and how we benefit from those things, which is great, because I'm all for that energy of taking that. It's like taking ownership, right? Like, if things aren't going well, what can you do to make them better, right? And I get into a place too where I have to, like, I think out loud, right? I talk things through out loud. It's possibly a lot of the Gemini in my chart, but it's also just like, this is really about seeing what's not working and moving right on forward, while also paying respect to the fact that you may need just to honor the loss and just to let yourself grieve for what wasn't, so that you can kind of really start to see what can be, right? So I think it's just a message of before you leap, just make sure that the cups that have been spilled before, you've really let yourself let them go, because we sometimes don't allow ourselves to grieve things fully, at least, because we think, oh, it's silly, it's whatever, it's dumb. But it's about emotion flowing, right? It's about allowing that state to just be as it is without needing to rush to change it, without needing to, all of that stuff. So I think that's a big part of what this energy is here, is just, there's a leap coming, the Fool energy is here. So it's really about taking steps in service to your healing, and taking steps in a way that also honors where you want to go, right? My cat is rubbing her face on my spider plant. And by spider plant, I mean snake plant. One of them. I don't know. But yeah. So Scorpio, I'm going to pull from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection deck. Let's see here. You've got time. Yeah, giving yourself time and recognizing that your healing process didn't happen overnight. And I think that there are, I don't believe in like making people wait. That just bugs the crap out of me, because I feel like it doesn't really, like, it holds people up. It wastes energy. And usually when people, like, it's not about making people wait, but I think it's about honoring a specific pace for yourself, honoring a pace for yourself. And if it feels good to be in that Fool energy, then be in it. But, yeah, it really is an energy of, on the one hand, pace, but I think it's also, yeah, understanding that part of your power is something that it's like it unfolds in the quiet. And if we're rushing, or if we're in that sort of rush energy, we can disconnect ourselves from ourselves. Yeah, that you have options is meaningful. Rock on. Yeah. So I don't know if that resonated or not. I feel like I think it was your reading before that came up about pace. But I feel like it's just that there's something, I mean, the number of major arcana cards that came out right here, and just these different aspects of yourself that you're balancing with this tower. Yeah. Just making sure that you're doing things that honors you, because that's really important, right? Spirit, what messages do you have for my Scorpios, please, and thank you? And also understanding too, Scorpio, that the right people or right person, however you configure your relationships, they're not going to want to push you into something necessarily. They will allow things to kind of unfold in its own time. Or having conversations about pace, or talking about that and like what that means relative to what you both value, or what the multiples of you, if you're in a polyamorous relationship, multiples of you, I don't know, this makes it sound like it's a hologram, no, but you know what I mean. Understanding how that aligns with your values. That was not even a real shuffle, but yeah, makes sense. I hope so. All right. I choose to reinterpret my fears with a more loving perspective. Yeah. I think that's a huge deal. It's a big deal. And so I am ready to receive love. I think this is beautiful. Maybe that's the confirmation that you needed. I'm not sure, but there was just something about this sort of push and pull here, where it was like, 2 steps backwards, 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, 12 steps forward, where I was like, whoa, that's like it was a significant energy difference. So I just wanted to make sure that I offered that aside, but I feel like you've got it, Scorpio. You've got it. So if this resonated, this was your reading, Scorpio. So if this resonated, please like and subscribe. Just at the outset, I'm just going to reiterate. I think that what you're releasing is this, the release here is dreaming too small. Dreaming too small, I think. Before, at least, and surrendering to how expansive it can be. So yes, there are other ways. So aside from this reading, there are other ways you can connect with me on the channel. So please feel free to check that out. But if this is where we part, my darling Scorpios, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, that it finds you very, very well. Take care, lovelies. Have a great day.